Morning all. How to make bread for the amateur. First things first, I need about 300 ml of water. The water's got to be quite tepid, so plenty of hot, a little bit of cold. What we're aiming at is room temperature. Sorry, body temperature. So that feels a little bit cold on my hand. Try it again. So basically same as doing a baby's bottle. So, well, cooler than a baby's bottle, tepid. You're going for body temperature really. Right, that's the water made up. Right, so first thing to do is to activate the yeast. So I put about 100 ml, 75, 100 ml of water into a bowl, like that. And I'm actually using fresh yeast. I can't get any dry yeast for love nor money. So it's a bit of a new experience for me. I've been keeping this in the freezer. There we are. Just give it another little squish. Right, so it's 2 tablespoons of fresh yeast. If I can dig it out. So that's 1. And 1 more. Oh, no. Oh, that should do it. Right, so that's the yeast done. I'll pop that back in the freezer in a minute. So you leave the yeast in there for about 5 minutes or so in the tepid water, and that should do it for that. Meanwhile, take the bowl in the scales. 500 grams of flour. This is 00 farina, which is basically Italian for flour. I got this 0. I got this from my local deli, as flour and yeast are hard enough to come by, and I'm trying to stay out of the supermarkets as much as I can. It makes a really nice white bread. If you want a bread with a soft crust, I've been reliably informed that you can use milk instead of water, but you have to watch out because it rises a lot faster with milk than with water. So that's that. That's the flour. You need some salt in, just to taste. We're not big on salt in this house, so we use the minimum amount we can. In goes the salt. Wooden spoon. Aha! Wooden spoon. So that's it. 500 of the flour. Mix that all up. And then go off and have a nice cup of tea. And once it's ready, you can see I've actually just made a little. Yeah, I'll get that mixed up a bit more. I've made a little well in there. If your flour's a bit rough, you can sieve it in, but I rarely bother. I quite like coarse flour. So that's about it. I'll catch you in 5 minutes. Okay, so the yeast has been in for about 5 minutes in the tepid water. So what you got to do now, I've made a well. You just pour it into the well. And usually what I do is just give the bowl a little rinse as well. The amount of water is really just by eye. It's around about 330 ml. You can see what I'm doing here. I'm just pulling from the outside in, a bit like mixing cement really. So what we're going to do is try and get the consistency right. Get all that yeast in. Right, here we go. A bit more. More again. Oh, there goes the toaster. that's like that. Give another go. Right. A little bit more. You can see it's still a little bit powdery. You can experiment with the consistency a little bit until you get it right, but that looks about right to me. It's actually starting to pull the see, it's actually when I stir it around, it sort of pulls everything off the bowl. So to me that's about right. And you can see what the yeast is doing, it's making it all stringy. Okay, done. Okay, so what I'm doing is it's like mixing cement. I've made a well in the middle and I'm now just pushing all the flour into the centre. Try and get the yeasty water all mixed up. Right, that's done. I'm going to make the well again. Get me 300 odd ml of water. Put, I don't know, about 2/3 of it in. And then carry on like you're mixing cement. Stir it all in like that. Get it all mixed up. From the outside in. Just like the mother taught me. Right, you can see it's starting to lift a bit from the side of the bowl, so what I'm going to do is start mixing now. Again, it's just like mixing cement. You can see it's getting the long strands. So I'm going to add a bit more water because it's still a bit dry. This is where you get your shoulders working out a little bit. Now that's actually just a little bit, that's a little bit wet now, so I'm just going to add a little bit more flour, not much. A couple of tablespoonfuls should do it. So the kitchen itself's got to be a little bit cool. No drafts, no open doors, no open windows, nothing like that. Right. That's pretty good there. Nice and stringy, not too sticky to the bowl. Right, flour top. Get that out of the way. Flour the top. Now, if you've got warm hands, run them quickly underneath the tap just to cool them down a little bit. My hands are actually quite cool anyway. I've got flour on my knuckles, flour on my hands. Right, now we're ready. Grab my wee spatula. Dump it all out. Right, I'm just going to start kneading a little bit and then we're going to stop videoing for a while because we're probably going to run out of camera. There we go, it's down. Right. This note whatnot. Makes it easy to do the washing up as well. Make sure you rinse the bowl pretty quickly, otherwise it turns into concrete. Bit more flour. That's probably a bit too much, but never mind. Now we have it. Knuckles. Just going to get it into a bit of a round shape like that. Try and undo it. Right. This bit's just going to be sticky. There's no way around it. It's a sticky little bit. Now kneading, lots of different ways. I'm just going to go for the old-fashioned one, which is pushing the strands away from me, fold around. Again, as you're working it, you'll find that it will actually start warming up a little bit. As it warms up, you know you're getting there. What you're looking for is a nice spongy, it's almost alive type of thing. I'm no expert, but you can see it's starting to get a bit spongy now. Right, I'm going to continue kneading this for about 5 minutes and then I'll get back to you. You can stop. Okay, so I've been kneading now for, I don't know, about 10 minutes or so. You can see it's just about there. The way I do the kneading in my mind is I'm stretching the fibres and I'm folding air in. Right, that's about it. Now you've got to get it ready now for raising. So, to raise it, get it ready for raising. A little bit of flour. It's pretty straightforward. You see what I'm doing? I'm making it into a little ball. Quite compact. Right. That's it. You can see all the fibres in the bread there. So, in the bowl. Right, you've got to raise that until it's about twice the size. Depending on the yeast, the flour, the temperature, all the rest. Anything from 45 minutes to an hour and a half. When it's ready, I'll show you how to tell when it's ready. I like to put it somewhere slightly warm, but not too crazy. So, it's going to sit there. The radiator's on. It's just off a little bit. Nice steady temperature. That's it done. Okay. Right, okay, it's been about an hour. I've already checked it, but I'm going to check it again. This is how you check to see if the dough's risen enough. Just pop your knuckle into the side like that. Give it a little push. Springs back. That's ready. So, I'm going to turn it out now. Oh, sorry, no. Hang on, I forgot my bit. I'm not going to turn it out. What I'm going to do is knock it back. So you can hear the air, possibly, squiffing out of it. So that's it, it's all knocked back. Right, well, it's all the air out. I've knocked it right back. Now I'm going to turn it out. Right, this is actually what's known as shaping the loaf. To put it into a tin. If you don't have a tin, this part can actually be skipped. Right, the dough's a little bit wet. That should have just plopped straight out. C'est la vie. Right, there it is. Right, that's it. A little bit of flour on the top like that. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm making a sort of a dinner plate. There it is. Nice and even and all round. I can tell already this isn't going to be a great loaf, but it'll do. It'll still be nice. Right, that's it. So what I've done is I've made it into a bit of an even dinner plate type of idea like that. Now what you do is you fold it over. So you're making a sort of an envelope type of shape, like that. That's it. I've got the tin in front of me and I'm going to go to about 2/3 of the size of the tin with a bit of luck. That's about it there. Shape it up a little bit. Pinch it, shape it, whatever you have to do. Alright, so I've got the tin there beside me just to give me an idea of the sizing of the thing. And in she goes. Try and even it up a little bit. Right, so the tin's like that. I've already greased it. You've got to grease around the top as well. If you haven't got a tin, you can use a crucible pot, frying pan, whatever you've got ready. Right, that's done. So, cover it up again. This is what's known as proofing. So I'm going to proof it for about 15 or 20 minutes. And then we'll get back to you. Stop. Right, so this is a white loaf. Exactly the same thing. Push in. You can see it pops out pretty well. So I'm going to go for it with this one as well. There we go. Same thing again. Oh, hello. Didn't knock it back, did I? Never mind. Mark it back in a bit here. There we are. Right, there we go. This is me getting all excited, becoming a film star. That's it. Right. Knock it all back. Turn it into a bit of a dinner plate. Grease pan. Same again. 1, 2. The nature of the dough is quite different between Granary and white, but that's the basic idea there. You're making your little envelope. This one's a bit flumpy. There we are. There we go. Same thing again. About 2/3 of the tin, roughly. There's no hard and fast rules. You don't need to get the measuring tape out or anything like that. There we are. Done. So that's the white loaf. I'm going to leave that one to rise as well. Catch up with you later. And stop now. Okay, it's been about 30 minutes of proofing. The Granary, I think it was a bit short in the mix. The white one's come up lovely. So what we're going to do now is what Nana Kelly and Nana McBride used to always say, is let the devil out. You should use a very sharp knife or a scalpel. This is all I've got. It's got a brand new blade on it. It'll do. So you put like a 1/2 inch cut just right down the centre. This is to let the devil out. Although some people would say it's to stop the loaf splitting down the side when it's baking. So it ends up like a pie crust. Right. That's it. Right, at this point, now's a great time to put the oven on. Gas mark 7, 20 minutes in the centre of the oven. Then you drop it down to gas mark 6 for about another somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes. I'll get back to you when it comes out of the oven. And stop. Okay, it's been 15 minutes. I'm just about to pop it in the oven, and what you've got to do now, just a little brush of water on the top. You don't have to go mad, just a very light brushing. There we are. Any brush at all will do, just as long as it's dry. Rub this one off, Kira. Sorry. There we are. See, I've got two different loaves on the go here. I've got the Granary and I've got the white as well. But, you can make it with any strong flour that you can get your hands on. The tricky bit is the yeast, but there is a way of getting your hands on yeast. You can get fresh yeast from a deli, or you can actually make it yourself if you get on Google. I've never tried it, but I may have to learn how to do it pretty soon, as we can't get any yeast around here at all. Right, that's it, all nicely brushed. So gas mark 7 in the centre of the oven for 20 minutes. Then you open the oven, spin the loaves around, drop it down to 6, and then it's about another 15-20 minutes. Okay, in the oven it goes. Right, okay, it's been about 15 hours. Let me get it right now, hang on. There it is. Ouch! So, that was 20 minutes at 7. It actually worked out at 15 minutes at 6. It looks ready to me. The way you check if it's ready, give it a little knock. Now, the crust will be very hard at this point. Drop her out. Same again. It's ready. So this is the trick. Now you got to wrap it up. And what that does is any moisture just left in the loaf doesn't works its way out to the crust, and it just softens the crust up a little bit. It'll still be quite a hard crust, but this makes life a bit better. And that's about it. So leave that until you can barely feel any heat. Yeah, you can see the steam coming off of it already, look. Actually, you use a slightly damp cloth. That one's damp, this one isn't. I'm just going to sort it out. But anyway, that's the idea. Slightly damp cloth. Wrap her up. Leave it until it's almost cool, and then you can unwrap it, let it finish cooling, and slice it up. There you go. Bread for somebody who, how can I put it, knows bugger all about baking bread.